Guys, does anyone else feel like we're living in an insane dream? A dream where One Piece is the single greatest story ever told and it's still delivering to this day, 25 years later? Because I feel like I'm living in that dream, and if that's true, I don't want to wake up from it. That was an insanely glazing way of saying that the latest One Piece chapter is out. And y'all, we may have gotten confirmation that the power of love is its own power system in One Piece. But of course, we gotta get to it in the chapter 1157 review. But before we get into it, y'all, you already know what's up. Like the video, okay? Very important. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this. And share it around with all your friends who love the series. You know we always say here, let's get it going. And make sure you subscribe to me and my boys over at CSY. We're really trying to push to 10K. Now, the title of the chapter is The Legendary Bar, and that's gonna make sense kind of towards the end. And yes, bar like a tavern, like a place where you drink at, not bar like a bar in a song. Although the legendary bar, if it was talking about a bar in a song, could still make sense because we have Big Sake, the song, to think about. But I'm already getting off track. And whoopee, we're back with the Yamato cover story. And what do we have here but Oda still stalling and not telling us who the supposed new famous person is? All we get is Yamato and her gang paying respects to him, while the title of it says, he died protecting his village from Kaido and there was no trace of his body left. That is brutal. Now, starting us, we get a Rocks Pirates heist. And I'm talking about a Breaking Bad money heist kind of heist where everybody is in different positions and actually like trying to steal together. And just like in those shows, problems ensue. I say that like I've watched either of those shows. I haven't. We see that they're on the Foot Colony trying to haul the loot out. So what you have is Ochoku, Big Mom, Ganzui, Barbell, and Don Marlin, all running away carrying loads of cash. I'm not gonna lie, why does it look like the Rocks Pirates was on some Robin Hood timing? Because we hear that apparently this shady hospital was actually stashing funds from the children they were supposed to give it to. At that moment, somebody calls Wang Ji on the telephone. And as we'll see in a bit, it's actually Kyo who says, yo, y'all still left us down here. We need you to lower the lift. That's when Shiki shows his absolute ratty side. Shiki's like, oh yeah, I forgot y'all are down there. And I forgot to mention, we're leaving you. He takes a bomb and chucks it down on the lower level, attempting to blow up his comrades. Well, comrades. Shiki's just like, yeah, if we get rid of them, there's gonna be more for us. So, hey, let's get him out. And I'm not gonna lie, this is exactly the kind of thing that you expect from the Rocks Pirates on the regular. At that moment, they are all trying to escape, but they see that the bars are kind of blocking their way. Big Mom says that she'll handle it, but then everything starts shaking. And that's when it's revealed that the entire island is sinking, and it's because of Whitebeard's Gura Gura no Mi power. And this is hilarious. You just see Whitebeard, Kaido, and Kyo all walking out perfectly fine, and Kaido's just like, man, old man Newgate, I gotta say, it's great to have a powerful power like that. Meanwhile, Whitebeard's just like, hey, you gotta be careful which power you're stuck with. And then of course, Big Daddy Rocks himself is the only one who's able to come in and shut it all down. But overall, I just really love seeing the Rocks Pirates dynamics. All the infighting and the absolute debauchery that everybody keeps saying about them, it's true. This is a regular basis occurrence. And it's really hard to just imagine current day pirate crews operating on this level. But it just really goes to show that they are the true definition of the word pirate. Especially when we get that long list of everything that the Rocks Pirates have accomplished up till now. I'll probably put it on screen somehow, but when I was reading that, I was just like, damn, y'all active. Then we cut to the whole Herald and the government kind of situation, and basically it's just Herald realizing that, yeah, the government are dogs. They'll go back on their word with you the moment that it doesn't fit their agenda. And of course, the kingdom that they were attacking was one of the kingdoms that ended up helping out Elbaf way back when they needed aid. So of course, Harold isn't taking lightly to that. But the moment that he attacks the government ships, the newspaper has entirely spun the whole thing. And now, of course, Elbaf's seat at the Reverie and being a member nation of the world government is basically completely cooked. And this conversation is continued in Ida's tavern, where you have Ida, Rocks, and Harold just talking about everything that went on. Of course, with Rocks still trying to get Harold to actually join up with him. And might I just say, y'all, I really like the Harold and Rocks dynamic. Like, you can really see that Rocks is actually thinking of Harold to be like one of his closest friends. He keeps going back, and it's not even like he's using him, because he's just literally having drinks. And he's just like, I can't bear to actually see you go through this. Like, I know the government's messed up and you know it, but you're choosing to do this, and I don't like that. We also get a slight revelation that it also seems that Garp is somehow part of this whole dynamic, in which they're at least not complete enemies with each other. Because even Rocks was like, oh yeah, even that guy would be better off as a pirate. Can you imagine a universe where Rocks is able to recruit Garp the hero to turn into a pirate? so the government would be reduced to atoms. And then speaking of Garp, we get a little interaction between the young version of him, young Sengoku, and young Tsuru, aka the young Marine Harry Potter trio, as well as Admiral Calm. And of course, they're just arguing back and forth about the status of Elbaf, and Garp is really just pushing for it. Like, this is Elbaf we're talking about. From what we're made to understand, especially from what Shamrock said when they first got here, whoever controls the Giants is going to be the strongest faction. And then we get to the kind of final-ish stage of the chapter, which also becomes very important. Because 42 years ago, a huge event happens that shocks the world. Shaki has quit as the captain of the Kuja Pirates. And you have people everywhere devastated that they're not gonna just be able to see Shaki on the seas anymore. It's a travesty. This is like if SZA said she is never going on tour ever again and she's just gonna be a shut-in and live in her house. The world will be rocked. Then we see Gloriosa, Big Mom, and Stussy talking to each other. Kind of like on some just chill shit. Gloriosa, who remember was Shaki's captain at a point, is just wondering what her game plan is. Big Mom is just drinking. Meanwhile, you have little baby rat versions of Katakuri, Daifuku, and Oven just scurrying around them. Big Mom's just like, oh man, you think that she left because she wanted to chase a man just like you did? Gloriosa's just like, what would you know about men? You let anybody hit. But if she's going after Roger, I'll never forgive her. So Gloriosa down bad for Roger. This is insane tax. Meanwhile, you just got Stussy jealous. Oh, man, it's always Shaki this and Shaki that. But at least you only have eyes for me, don't you, Edward Newgate? And then you just have Whitebeard in the corner being like, I've never been in love with you. Stop telling people this. It's just hilarious. I love these dynamics. But then the craziness ramps up. But the world's most beautiful woman, Shaku Yaku herself, has pulled up to Hachinosu and wants to live there. And I'm not gonna lie, this is when the chapter gets out of hand, because you have literally everybody, man, woman, doesn't matter, looking at her with insane heart eyes like she's just too fine. And all I'm gonna say is it's a good thing I'm not in the One Piece world. So everyone's just like, wait, you're joining the Rocks Pirates? She's like, no, I'm not sailing with them. I just want to live here for a bit. And her reasoning actually makes sense. She's like, if I just quit, that's not going to stop the Marines because I'm still a pirate. So may as well have a really strong house to, like lay low for a while. And she's just like, you'll protect me, right? And of course, everybody is fawning over her, even building her a huge tavern. At that moment in time, the big boy Rocks Pirates come through. And I'm talking Rocks, Captain John, Shiki, Don Marlin, even Whitebeard is there. Rocks is just like, can somebody tell me why all you rats are making so much noise? Damn! But at that moment, Rocks looks up and sees a huge tavern in front of him that says Shaki's Ripoff Bar. That's crazy lore. The fact that the Shaki's Ripoff Bar that we know of on Saboti wasn't the first one. The first one was Rox's crib. And I ain't gonna lie, Shaki's bar fit, diabolical. She's just like, oh man, I'm happy y'all are back. You're gonna be my first customers. And I kid you not, every single member of the Rocks Pirates, you have Rocks Dizabek himself, falls head over heels for this woman. You see them have the hard eyes and everything. It's her beauty is literally overpowering the strongest characters in the world. You literally see them going outside. You have Rocks himself talking about, no, you don't gotta do anything. Let me clean it all up for you. I got you. She needs help opening something. 3 different members of the Rocks crew are all fighting to open it. I'm not gonna lie, this was when I was like, yeah, the Goon piece is real. And I'm not gonna lie, does this put Shaki as top 1? Her just radiant aura of her being pretty was enough to bring down literally the strongest people in the world. But nah, this is just insane. And it honestly makes me wonder, is Shaki Blackbeard's mom? And honestly, I don't know how the timelines match up, but I don't hate it. But then the narrator also mentions a treasure such as this one, of course, is bound to get stolen. So it seems like the government or somebody managed to get their hands on her. And not gonna lie, it reminds me of the fact that back during Kuma's flashback, when we saw the Roger Pirates enter God Valley, that was when Roger was like, oh yeah, the national treasure that was taken from us and that I was fighting for. Y'all, if everybody on that battlefield was fighting over Shaki, then Shaki has to be top 1. And I'm not gonna lie, big up Rayleigh too, for being the only one to bag her. But getting back to seriousness, we cut to the Room of Authority for the last panel of the chapter. And you have St. Marcus Mars just saying that, yeah, we'll accept that Elbaf can become a member nation if they manage to do one thing for us: kill Rocks Dizabek. But y'all, I don't think you understand just how flabbergasted I was reading this chapter. Everybody a gooner, like this doesn't make any sense. But literally on a more serious note though, if you really think about it, it can really boil down to love being its own power system. In the same way that willpower and dreams can be manifested into this world through things like hockey and devil fruits, don't you think it makes sense that love could as well? Because think about it, that could tie into why Gaban Slash worked against Summers and why he wasn't regenerating. There was like some sort of like love power there that actually is what stops the regeneration from happening. And that's why when you say like love is power and love is a hurricane, we're being very literal. It's not just like metaphorical crap that people are spouting. I'm not gonna lie, I may make a video on this because that's a crazy agenda, but I actually rock with it. But I want to hear your thoughts about this chapter. Is everybody in One Piece a gooner? Does being a gooner stop you from being one of the strongest? Because I'm not gonna lie, we have multiple upscales from this chapter alone. For one, it's definitely a Boa upscale. If she is to now what Shaki was to people back then obviously she's got to be up there. And there's also another Sanji upscale, because if Rox himself can act all lovey-dovey, then listen, all bets are off on who's going to be strong and who's not. Yeah, Zoro fans, I said it, but I want to know all your thoughts and more about this chapter in the comments. Please do. That is the end of the video, y'all, but before we go, like it, subscribe, share it around with all your friends who love the series, or anime and manga in general. Remember, trying to build a community here, but I need your help to do it. That's going to be all from me. I'll catch you on the next one, and always remember, One Piece, one life. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm about to be late to a dinner party with some friends. Yeah, I'm that age.